G'day guys, MAT5 here, and today I'll be reviewing Unfriended. Unfriended is a unique and modern take on the supernatural horror genre. What makes this film unique is that it takes place entirely on teenager Blair's computer screen, as she browses websites, messages friends, video chats on Skype, everything that you would also do if you used a computer for anything. The story revolves around the 1-year anniversary of suicide victim Laura Barnes, a childhood friend of Blair who takes her own life after she was abused and embarrassed after a video of her intoxicated shows up on YouTube. I won't spoil the video, but it was enough to push her to suicide. So fast forward a year later, Blair Skype chats with her friends, which she obviously does very often, but this time the chat seems to be invaded by an unknown account who claims to be Laura Barnes, and from here we, the audience, experience everything from Blair's computer screen, as her and her friends are tormented by this unknown account's deadly and personal psychological games. So right off the bat, I'm really impressed with how well the film pulled off the computer screen concept. It really does feel like someone's actual computer with their own personal folders, files, music, additional random tabs in the internet browsers, and so on. We can even hear Blair as she's typing on her keyboard, and even does stuff like goes to write a sentence only to delete it entirely and start over, which all of us do. All of these little details combine together, which results in a surprisingly realistic depiction of some random teenage girl's computer screen. Unfriended is a fascinating and unique film since it never once leaves the computer screen in the entire film. It's as if we, the audience, are Blair in first person, and we can only see her and her friends via the video chat, which also features realistic problems such as distortion and lag. The film, for the most part, resists from using any sounds of ambiance or music, except for what music is being played on Blair's computer, which is also a very nice touch. But unfortunately, the film does utilize that quiet, vibrating, rumbling sound that is also used in the Paranormal Activity series, which is used to put the viewers on the edge of their seats in anticipation of a jump scare. This feels unnecessary and out of place for the film that otherwise feels consistently realistic. I'm also really impressed with the acting, which stays consistent throughout the entire film. They really do feel like everyday teenagers with plenty of attitude. But in saying this, you don't really know any backstory about the characters since you only ever see them in video chats, so it results in what you see is what you get characters. So, is the film scary? Well, there was never a time when something surprised me or caught me by surprise, mainly thanks to that vibrating sound, which helps you anticipate when something like a jump scare was going to happen. So no, unfortunately, it's just not scary. Although there were a few times when the film effectively creeped me out, but those times were never fully realized, and honestly, I wanted more of those moments over the predictable, worn-out jump scares. I felt that the film was more of a supernatural psychological thriller over a horror, since Laura plays a lot of deadly mind games with the group by sharing their deep, dark secrets, which result in aggravation and betrayal amongst them, which results in thrilling, unpredictable moments. So of course there are deaths in the film. Now this is going to sound really strange coming from me, a known ghoul when it comes to violence, but I felt that the violence in Unfriended was quite over the top and felt unnecessary. It's just used for shock value, which makes the film feel rather cartoony and silly. And like I said, the characters aren't fleshed out, and most of them aren't even likable, so it's not a huge shock when they do die. And lastly, of course, the ending of the film is weak and unsatisfying. Of course, I won't spoil anything, but it was supposed to be like an oh my god moment, but it didn't surprise me at all. So in the end, Unfriended is a unique idea that will work for some but not for all, mainly because the whole computer concept can make the overall film feel rather slow at times and uninteresting to some. But for me, I actually praise the presentation of the film. It is one of the best things about Unfriended because it is detailed and fully realized. I also love the suspenseful mind games that are used on the teenagers, which results in thrilling, edge-of-your-seat moments, but ultimately, the film fails as a horror film, with the only scare being the jump scares, and they're just not well done. As I said, I preferred the more creepy moments in the film, which it should have tried to keep up. This film won't be for everyone, in the same way that some people aren't into the Paranormal Activity films, so overall I give Unfriended a 7 out of 10. With a brilliant concept, thrilling and creepy moments, the film does succeed at feeling like something different, but at the same time falls into the cliche horror tropes that plague most films of the genre. It just needed to continue at being something different, rather than playing it safe with cheap and poorly timed jump scares and ridiculous over-the-top deaths. If the concept intrigues you, then I recommend you check it out, but as it stands as a supernatural horror film, it's just not scary. Thank you very much for watching this review of Unfriended, my first film review in almost a year, so if you want to see more of these, let me know. Also, don't forget to check out these other great videos, and I hope to see you subscribe and return to MAT5 Reviews.